You are listening to the Foamy Heads podcast, where we discuss craft beer and anything else that accompanies a glass.
Welcome to another episode of the Foamy Heads. Mitch and Rich hanging out on the mics today. We are chilling with Ryan Jensen with Marrowbone Creek Brewing all the way out in Ashland City, Tennessee. Ryan, what's up, dude?
How's it going, man?
We are excited, dude.
Yeah.
We've been messaging probably ever since the Nashville Craft Beer Social Club is where we met you when we did the one of the bottle shares at the Cedar Tap, which is also you guys' spot. And I want to hear a little bit more about that later. But you were pouring beers for us that day and kind of just hanging out. And we started talking and shit, Ryan owns Marrowbone Creek Brewing. That's something that we need to talk about. So we've been kind of a little bit back and forth on and off for the last couple of months. But we're really excited to be out here today. Mitch, man, the drive.
Yeah.
Not for you. Not too bad.
No.
I guess for you.
About 30 minutes.
30 minutes, 40 minutes. Okay. A little bit more than an hour for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it was an easy drive. Like, it wasn't bad at all. It's straight back roads all the way in. 24 for the most part, but then there was some traffic piling up, and then it took me off onto a back road. And then being a guy from Atlanta first, and then like living in Nashville for the while, it's like, stay on the street for 14 miles. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do that? But we're here.
Yeah.
We're here, and we've got beer in front of us, and we've got a gracious host with us, Ryan, today. So again, man, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
This is awesome. We're actually sitting inside the brewery right now, and we're the only ones here.
Yeah. We both got to see the space.
Mm-hmm.
We got to walk back and see the rest of the area. It's a beautiful venue.
Yep.
Plenty of seating, and man, the beer's flowing.
Yes. Ryan, you've got two different spaces here. You've got the kind of the front of the house area that's got this bar area that's got a few different tables, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 tables with a cooler. And then you've got a big area out back. So kind of take us through, before we get to that, a little bit of the history, like what started Marrowbone Creek Brewing, and where did this whole like passion come from you?
Yeah. So, we started talking about the concept, month and a half, 2 months into COVID. I mean, it was pretty early on. As I was working downtown events industry, there was kind of no end in sight by that point. We're joking around mostly like, oh, well, what if we just started something? What if we did our own thing during the middle of this? And, we've got all the time in the world to start a project. And this is really kind of what happened out of it. We're sitting there just joking around, we could do a coffee shop, we could do a restaurant. And, Chris and Julie, their passion was truly in beer. Chris had been homebrewing for a long time. They had tried to start another brewery several years back, which turned into Various Artists.
Oh, wow.
So they were part of initial talks on that before that fizzled, from my understanding, before that kind of fizzled out into its own thing. An incredible place when it was still around.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah,
man.
So their passion was in that. I didn't even drink at this point. Never had a beer in my life, not a drop of alcohol.
Really?
I mean, event side of thing, the restaurant, that side of it was kind of my passion, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
It was my experience out of college. I knew the most about that, but the beer side, not a clue.
Wow.
Probably couldn't name more than 5 breweries in Nashville at that point. Hadn't tried a single thing.
Nice.
So the first time I ever drank was a cider. We're experimenting at home, and I'm learning about the brewing process from Chris, and I made my own cider, and I said, I got to try it.
Mm.
It was pretty good. It was a peach cider, used a champagne yeast, so it was pretty dry, not too sweet. And I have to compare it to something.
Right.
So I try Diskin, I think was the first place I ever went. Diskin cider. It's not beer. It's cider. It's sweet. I like it. Well, I got to try something else to compare it. So that's kind of the staple. That's kind of the bar. I have to try something else. So I ended up at Southern Grist.
Yeah.
And when they were, pumping out the Hill series, 5 new sours a week, I think the first sour I ever tried was a strawberry raspberry Hill. Loved it. So, we're kind of talking through this, I'm finally trying beer for the first time, and we see this space come up for lease. And, all the cards just kind of, fell into play. And, we talked to the owner of the building, and he had a couple other people interested, but, he was looking to improve the space, not just lease it as it was. Mm-hmm. So he really held out for us. He saw what we were trying to do. I mean, he held on to it for a good month and a half, just us coming in, taking measurements, looking at it. And I know he turned away a refrigeration guy, that wasn't going to do anything. So this was a completely different space beforehand. I mean, I was saying earlier, it was completely drop ceilings. There was tile on the floor. The bar where it is now up front, those were offices that we tore out. I mean, this was a different space. Wow. So we jumped on it. We really kind of bootstrapped it from there. Really no plans in sight. We just started kind of demoing and figuring it out as we went.
That's dope.
So, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy like the accent walls of the older building as well. I mean, as far as I know, that is like the brick and everything.
Yeah. So those were paneled over. It was this angled piece of like veneer something just across it. So we came in and we started taking that down and realized, they're rounded on the outside, but they're rounded on the inside too, and chipping away the plaster on it, and it revealed all this cool brick on it.
Nice.
So
I'm trying to think. We've talked to quite a few people on this show, and most of them have either been well established prior to COVID, and they kind of had to pivot a little bit. Some of them had just opened before COVID, and then so they kind of already had a taste for what was coming. And then we talked to people that had opened after the shutdown when everything was coming back up. So I don't think we've ever talked to anybody that had a passion project like during the lockdown and was like, hey, what if we were to open up a brewery or something?
Pretty bold.
There's
no end in sight. Yeah, absolutely.
But that's a cool story. I like hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have beer in front of us, actually.
We do.
4 of them. We've got a whole flight.
Yeah. Where do we begin?
Let's talk with the master. Ryan, which one do we start with first?
Let's do light to dark. They're kind of out of order, but
okay.
Yeah, let's dig into this. The barrel aged Puzzel Fool's Gold.
Tell us about the Puzzel Fool's Gold. This is you guys' like staple beer originally, and then this is the barrel aged version of it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So this was the first beer we ever came out with. The idea was to come out strong, big and bold. Nothing safe was kind of the motto, and settled on the Belgian Golden Strong. There's not a lot of places locally that are doing Belgians. Not a lot of that on the market, outside of that even. Yeah. So that's kind of what we settled on. And we didn't even have the back open at this point. We actually had to go contract brew it. So we talked with a local place in Nashville, and they said, absolutely,
sweet.
We'll get you going. We actually did another batch of Puzzel Fools there, and I believe our next 2 beers, which one was a wet hopped IPA, and we did a Hefeweizen with them as well before we actually were brewing.
Had your own space to brew.
That's right.
There's a couple of places in Nashville that'll contract brew out for somebody just because they have. At least I thought there was that have enough space to kind of rent out to you guys and other people that don't have the space up and running quite yet. From what I've heard anyway. So I like seeing a craft beer community come together and helping out and things like that. Of course, I mean, they're not going to let you do it for free, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah, right. You pay for grains, you pay the rental, and, they're very helpful, very, very willing. And, I know there's several places even talking of renting out a shared space and doing grain orders all together to save on shipping costs. And, if
that shit's skyrocketing now.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
If it's $300 for a pallet flat, you might as well share it with your buddies too.
Yeah.
So, it's been a really good part to be, a part of this community.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So the Puzzel Fool's Gold is the original Belgian Golden Strong Ale. We're drinking the barrel aged version. This sits at 8.3 if I'm reading the screen correctly up there.
That should be right.
Yeah. Just taking a whiff on the nose. It's definitely, there's some barrel age to it there, a little bit sweetness. It's not overly powerful in terms of like barrel. It says barrel conditioned up there. I don't know if there is a difference between that, but maybe it's the style of beer, but I'm not really picking up like, Mitch, you have those stouts that are like overly super strong barrel age. I don't pick up on a lot of that like super strong barrel on the nose on this at least, but I haven't tasted it yet either.
No, yeah, it's got a very inviting nose.
It's pleasant.
It's got a sweet fruit, like kind of fruit may not be the right term, fruity, but it's got a
sweet for sure.
Sweet.
I don't pick up on any fruity notes.
I'm trying to find the right thing. My brain keeps switching to fruit, but it's not.
You've had a weird day today, though.
This is true.
Yeah,
but
I had someone call it a banana bomb the other day. Maybe a touch, but it's smooth. That's probably what they're equating that to.
Well, let's jump in then.
Let's try it.
Cheers. Banana a little bit on the end.
A touch.
A little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a banana. I mean, I've had Hefeweizens that are like way more banana overload than something like this.
Is there any vanilla in it at all?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No. Maybe just that sweetness that's messing with you a little bit.
Yeah.
The banana on a little bit of banana, yeah, just on the end for me, but not too. It's definitely sweet, but I think the barrel conditioning plays nicely with it. It's easy to drink. 8.3 wouldn't have pegged that. Like,
no, it is smooth, and even the regular version of it too. It's down the hatch easy, and you got to kind of watch out with it.
Oh, that's dangerous too.
Yeah.
How long did this one? So is this a one-time brew for you guys, or are you going to constantly doing the barrel conditioned version, and just like over and over, or is the barrel condition like a one-off of you guys' regular Puzzel Fool's Gold?
Yeah, so this was a one-off for a 1-year anniversary, and we picked up some Starlight Distillery barrels,
Ooh,
and there may not be a batch going into that this week.
Nice,
and it's gonna sit there for good 8 months, probably a year. Yeah. So we were trying to fast track this. I mean, we were messing with the pressures, trying to get it, in and out of the wood and really soak up some of that flavor. But, I think this was kind of a nice, subtle way to introduce a lot of people to that oakiness, kind of that flavor. And then, really drop the bomb on them.
Second anniversary, right?
Absolutely.
It'll be cool to have something like that sitting for 8 months, 10 months, whatever, and then bring it out.
And those barrels are wet too.
Really?
I mean, there's probably I think Shane was telling me he dropped those off. There's a cup or two of whiskey in them still. So I may have to dump a little bit of it out before we get too far.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these barrel aged beers, man, is you can't rush that process. Like, you take it out sooner. It's going to be those notes are there. I think me personally, like I was a little bit scared of a barrel condition or a barrel aged golden ale, but this for me hit right just because it's, and now I'm curious. I mean, you've got my attention now. I'm curious to know what it's going to be like 8 months, in the barrel, 10 months in the barrel, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you're drinking the wrong one.
No,
well, I went for one that was
similar.
Similar.
That ain't it.
Well, that's why this is tasting different, Richard.
This one's bitter. I don't get it. Is he drinking the IPA?
The IPA.
The IPA is
fruity
sweet
notes,
and fruity.
sure.
Makes a lot more sense.
I was like, wow, whatever.
Ryan's pointing at your glass with like, this one right here, homie.
I was like, damn it.
Take a sip of that one, Mitch.
This is what happens when you don't drink ahead of time.
Oh,
didn't warm up.
That's true. We know sometimes we come into these things just slightly buzzed a little bit, and it makes things just a little bit.
There's some barrel
There
agedness
you
there.
go.
I was like, this is just sweet.
I don't get any barrel aged taste in this one.
Confidence is coming back now.
My bad. Yeah, that was let me go back to the nose then. It definitely has a little banana twang to the nose.
Yeah, a little bit. It's definitely
a little oaky.
Yeah, and for me on the finish, the banana flavor comes out a little bit, but the barrel aging in it is just slightly there, just enough to not scare me, and it's enough to pique my attention for, what if it sat a little bit longer, or what if it sat for a year or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is not disappointing to me whatsoever. That is a tasty beer.
Yeah. I can see where the guy got banana bomb as I get more and more of this on my palate, but it's not Hefeweizen.
It's not overload.
Yeah.
No. More banana when it comes up. So the burp definitely has some banana flavor to it.
Nice.
Yeah. If there's any way to not sound disgusting about that.
Some things are just the way they are.
Ryan, first brewery in Ashland City, dude. Why Ashland City? Is it just... It needed the space. You needed a place, and it was close by, and that's what it was.
That really nails it.
All right.
You know, Chris and Julie bought property out here back in 2019, I think it was. So not too long before COVID. It was probably 6-7 months before. So they were already out here.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Brentwood at the time. When I lost my job, I actually was crashing on a tiny house on their property. So that's kind of how we connected and got to know each other. But Ashland City, if you look around Nashville, it's one of the closest spots to downtown that has not just absolutely exploded. You have Hendersonville blew up 5 years ago. You have Franklin that blew up 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mount Juliet, Lebanon's going through it, and they've been going through it. You have Bellevue that's crazy, out there. But Ashland City, it's
Next
20
up.
minutes. It's 20 minutes to downtown from right where we're sitting.
It was
Not
a
bad.
super easy drive.
Yeah.
Just
it's
getting
pretty.
here.
It's very pretty. I love the rock. I don't know what else to call it other than the rock. It's kind of like you're going through the mountains a little bit. It's not like Chattanooga mountains.
You talking about like on the right while you were
Yeah,
driving in? Yeah.
It's like
the Buttes.
the Buttes.
The Buttes. No, I mean coming from like when you Murfreesboro for me is a small town, even though they're exploding and they're growing and things like that. But when you spend a lot of your time in like Nashville, Hermitage, like greater Nashville area, like that becomes the norm for you. So and even Atlanta. Obviously, I was a young cat when I moved out of Atlanta and moved into Nashville, but I grew up with when we were in the car, it was 7 lanes of bumper to bumper interstate traffic every hour of the day.
Yes.
Every hour, and everybody drove like assholes. That was just kind of how it is. So coming out here, it's a change of pace, and it's a welcome change of pace, and then just being able to come and walk into a brewery, like I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've really seen a change in the demographic, even in the year we've been here. We still get people 2-3 times a week saying, "Hey, I just moved out here. What's there to do?" And you kind of have to just stand there and say, "Well, nothing really yet." But it's changing rapidly, and I hate to be the second brewery in a town this size. Is kind of what that came down to.
Sure.
So maybe we were a year or two early, but I think we're doing all right. We're getting out there. We're selling beer. We have a pretty loyal, regular crowd that comes in here.
Nice.
And, it's just a really good spot to be. Like you're saying, it gets you out of the city. You feel pretty far removed, but you're still 20 minutes to all the conveniences that you might be missing out on.
It's a good distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can be far enough away from everything, but close enough if you need to get somewhere.
For sure.
Do you guys do distribution yet?
We
like in the area?
Yeah, we self-distro right
Okay.
now. So when they changed the laws
The
back
county
in
allows
October,
for that?
So I mean, and again, you're sitting here. It didn't make sense before. We're closer to Nashville than we are to any other town in the county.
Right.
Why can't we get into Davidson?
Right.
So we welcome that change, and Clarksville's been great to us. There's a couple places up there. Shout out to Thirsty Goat and Tap House 57.
Tap House 57.
Always take our beer up there. Having the Cedar Tap open up in Lebanon, we can get it out there.
Yep.
That's a pretty easy sell for us. Just kind of those outer markets that don't have breweries or a ton of breweries yet have been very welcoming.
That's awesome.
Very
Absolutely.
nice.
Let's jump into the next one then.
All right.
Probably the IPA.
Yeah, might as
I'm down
well.
with the
We've already
IPA,
jumped
yeah.
into it.
Mitch is already halfway done with the IPA. This one smells great. I'm excited. I'm a hophead. Like
Sure.
IPAs are my thing. This is definitely fruity on the nose.
Floral.
Yeah.
Fruity.
Some floral. Okay. We've talked about this before. I am terrible at picking up floral notes. I just can't do it. I don't even know what it tastes like. Is that floral like perfume notes, or
I
is
think
it more
like honeysuckle in a way. Sweet, kind of
okay,
Floral.
yeah, floral.
kind of floral?
Think
I don't fucking know what
think
that smells like.
arrangements.
If I walk into a flower shop and I smell it, like, is that what it's supposed to taste like? Is that what it's supposed to smell like?
It's I mean, if you get up close with a flower,
Yeah.
you'll know.
How bad does it set off my allergies?
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, let's take a sip, gentlemen. Ooh, that's easy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So my brain was tricking itself to ignore the hops
Mm-hmm.
because I was seeking like oakiness, and I'm like, there's this heavier flavor, but it's not. It tastes like hop. But I was.
But I
just
don't
like-
want to say anything.
I was all fucked up trying to figure it out. But this makes a lot more sense now.
Where's this one clock in at from an alcohol perspective? I'm looking at it up there.
6.2%.
6.2. Okay.
So
nice middle of the road. Yeah, I like it. American IPA. It's definitely this is a welcome change because for the last, I'd say, week and a half, I've been doing nothing but hazies, just juice bombs. And so one that I've been stuck on lately is Panther Creek just released a like a juice bomb of an IPA called You Got the Juice, and it's just like
nice.
It looks like orange juice when you pour it. Like it is super sweet, super juicy. I love it. But it's been that, and it's been it's been stouts, and it's been that, and I haven't had just an American style IPA in a while, and so this is hitting just right tonight. 6.2, it's middle of the road, like. You're not killing me with 10% ABV, so I appreciate that.
This is crisp, clean, easy to drink. A little bit sweet.
As of now, of course, we've only had 2, but as of now, this is my pint for the evening. Right. I don't know if that's going to change as we get. I'm very interested in both. There's that winter spice Belgian that we have, and then the stout as well. But I think so far the weather's hitting me for an IPA tonight.
This is one IPA that I would have if I had to mow.
Yeah.
If I would mow.
Sit down on that riding lawnmower and just crack open a can.
If I mowed, I would probably die because of my allergies. But this is what I picture myself doing.
This would help.
Yes.
This would help. Ryan, so you mentioned, you alluded to the Cedar Tap just a few minutes ago. So it's brand new, 6 months, 8 months or so in Lebanon.
That's right. Yeah. We opened up late October last year.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we opened here, February 2021 at Marrowbone. And I had a friend text me the same day and said, "Hey, I would love to start something with you. Seeing what you're doing." I mean, hadn't even come. He didn't come our first day to check us out. He just, assumed we were doing well, very happy for us. Had always supported us, said he'd even buy property out here if it ever came up just because we're opening.
Sweet.
So he texted me. I said, let's talk. I'm very tired. We've been working on this for so long, and we don't even have the backspace open, so it's going to be a bit. I think we met up 2 weeks later, and we started looking at spaces on the square to open up. And I mean, it was not long at all.
Wow.
And we had talked, let's do this. Let's wait a year. Let's wait. We'll plan this out a little bit better. And, I think it was a week or two later, we're on the square looking at spots. And he's a local guy. His name's Matt. He grew up in the area. His family's all in the area. His dad had an office on the square too, a real estate office. And so he knew it. He kind of knew the crowd. He said, if you're doing well in Ashland City, I think, this is the move for Lebanon. Yeah. There's nothing on the square right now. It's kind of old town, old money, antiquated laws. But I think the people there would welcome it.
They need something like that.
I think so. You're getting a lot of Nashville transplants out there, and that's even further than Ashland City. I mean, it's a good 35, 40 minutes to get into town if there's not traffic.
Yep.
It's a chunk of time. Aaron could speak on that.
Yeah.
Sure. So, the demographic was there. The need for craft beer. There's no breweries in Wilson County yet. There's one actually an opening less than a block from us.
Nice.
So again, it's changing rapidly. I think, it's welcoming the culture out there. And it's been a great 6 months. We made it through the first winter, and COVID disappeared or whatever.
Just magically went away.
Just gone.
Yeah.
And it's up and
Isn't
up.
that cool how that works?
I love it.
Yeah. So and you've got quite a you mentioned you had some of your own Marrowbone Creek beers there, and you have guest taps as well.
Absolutely.
How many taps are at that location?
So we have 24 now. We actually just installed 4 more because we're looking at getting our liquor license any day now. So we'll actually have some wine on tap, some cocktails on tap as well.
Ooh.
So mixing it up a little bit.
The lady friends would like that.
And that's the thought is we have so many people that come in, like I'd be here more often, but I can't get my friends to, they only drink bourbon, or like my wife won't come with me. She's, wine and sangria, or, just people that can't even, it comes down to hop allergies or grain or something. And they could, they can have other things.
Yeah. Beers off the table, though.
Yeah,
right?
but they can have the 2 ciders we have on tap or the non-alcoholic kombucha, and it's
Sure.
just not enough for them to justify coming out. And I understand,
Totally.
and that's kind of the thought process behind expanding on that. But it's still about the beer. Really focusing on the Middle Tennessee breweries, regional stuff, and if it's just good, it's going to be on tap.
Okay, so that's the focus then.
Absolutely.
And we had the bottle share there, Mitch, with the Nashville Craft Beer Social Club.
Yeah.
You mentioned that one to me, and you were like, "Hey, we're doing this or Nashville Craft Beer Social Club is doing this at the Cedar Tap." And my wife mentioned it, and she was like, "Cedar Tap." She goes, "That's a new place that opened up because my wife works in Lebanon. We talked about that a little bit before, like, and she's like, "Yeah, there's a brewery opening up in Lebanon, not too far from them, in the future." She goes, "But there's a new tap room that just opened up." I was like, I have to look into that. And it was like 2 days later, Mitch was like, "Hey, Nashville Craft Beer Social Club is doing their next bottle." We've been to a few of them. I mean, they had they were the ones that did the virtual one during the lockdown. Boy, we got shit faced that night.
Oh, well, that was a lot lot
shit.
You had to put up or ante up $55.
$55.
I think it was 55.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of breweries just like donate the
throwing
beers,
stuff in there.
and it all went to a good cause.
Yeah,
they always are all about charity, and it was all part of that. And
on Zoom.
This was all because you had to be virtual and
6
foot distance or more, and a lot of places weren't open. So what is the smallest kind of can you can get other than a 4-pack?
Yeah,
and that's a crowler. So a lot of people were just crowlering
32-ounce crowlers or 16-ounce just bombers. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, we had from all over. There was East Nashville Brewery Works, Evil Nash, I think
Evil Nash was in
Clarksville. From Clarksville. We had places all over Tennessee put up beer, and
Tennessee Brew Works was in there.
Yeah. And there's some mystery ones too. I think Evil Nash was one of the mysteries.
Evil Nash was one of the mystery ones.
He only had so much of each one that he donated, so everyone got a kind of a grab bag.
Yep.
And we all had to kind of figure out what we had.
Yeah. And that was my foray into the whole like Nashville Craft Beer Social Club. I hadn't really been that active in it prior to that. And then they started doing, once COVID magically disappeared, and then we decided to start going into like in-person bottle shares. We had, I think the next one was at Tennessee Brew Works.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was at the Cedar Tap. And my wife was like, "Hey, that's the place that just opened up." And I was like, "Hell yeah." So that was just because I live in Murfreesboro, that's been my only foray into Lebanon at the Cedar Tap. But such a dope space.
It was great. I'm glad Lebanon had something that was exciting for once.
Yes. And Ryan was there.
And I swore I wasn't going to drink, and then everybody started pouring me samples.
Shane.
Hey, it's all right.
Oh, yeah. Shane.
I had what was it, a 17% barley wine that smelled like dirty salt. You guys remember that one?
Yeah. That was,
no.
Dude. There was a lot of good beer
It was a good time.
There.
Yeah. The problem that it's not a problem, but everybody seems to go, okay, if I'm going to have a bottle share, I'm going to save the beers that I can't drink all of by myself. And the problem is they're all like super heavy stouts, barrel-aged stouts, or really like spicy and like wild, funky saisons.
Oh yeah.
And so like you get to this place and you have like 1 IPA, 2 IPAs, and maybe you've got a couple of like easy drinking beers that somebody just brought leftovers from. They go, okay, we'll throw this in there. But for the most part, you get shit-faced because they're all just like super like big stouts.
Yeah, sometimes there's a few representatives that show up at times, and they have a whole stock of goods that they want to share with you, and that was a treat.
Yes,
I forget what beer it was and who it was, but it was he showed up with boxes, and as long as we could drink a bottle collectively, one could be broke out.
Yes.
I don't know.
Was it the Nashville Barrel Company? The
I think so.
Southern Grist Collab?
Yes. Southern Grist Collab. Yeah.
I took one of those home.
That was so good.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes.
Beer.
Yes.
I was very happy to be able to have that one.
Yeah. A few people had some heavy hitters that are unicorns at that. So if you see charity events, bottle share, it's probably worth it to donate.
Yeah, for sure.
Money goes to a good cause, and you get some good causes in your mouth.
Please edit that out.
No, we're definitely leaving that one in there. And then Ryan was there, and he was just kind of like, were you kind of slinging food that night a little bit, weren't you?
Yeah,
or
so
just kind of there, like watching over the space.
I was supposed to participate, and then I got a text, more or less, for someone that wasn't coming in, and so I was bartending, slinging food, and participating, and it was a lot of fun. Though. Yeah, definitely the next one is at Homegrown on May 21st, I believe.
That's right.
And I
love Homegrown, cool space,
awesome spot.
Yeah,
and I'm glad they've really blown up and doing well. So, but planning on being to that one and participating more. So,
May 21st.
May 21st.
I'm gonna try to be there.
Yeah, Homegrown. It's another one of those spaces that have kind of stood the test of time in Donaldson.
Yep.
And they've even expanded their bar, I think a year ago, I think it was.
Have they?
Yeah, it's a nice bar.
They redid their patio space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was going there when they didn't have a patio space. Like it was just a hole in the wall joint.
Yeah.
Good for them, man. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
I think the same thing, about both places is, maybe the area is not there yet, but you look at a spot like that and how busy they are every single day.
Mm-hmm.
If we can be half as busy, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's get into the third beer then. I'm assuming, do we want to do the spiced winter warmer?
Let's do it.
All right. So you tell me the name of this one, Ryan. Wintervakantie?
Wintervakantie.
Really bad.
It's Dutch for winter vacation.
Winter vacation. 7.2% spiced Belgian, winter spiced Belgian.
Another Belgian.
Interesting.
I don't know what to take of this one. I've never had anything like this before, I don't think.
For some reason, it reminds me of possibly delirium nocturnum on the nose.
Okay.
A little bubble gummy.
I do smell some bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a fair bit of star anise in this. That's kind of that bubble gum licorice flavor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What did you call that, Ryan?
Star anise.
Star anise.
Or some people pronounce it star anus. I've heard it.
That's totally what I would say if I'm reading it.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with star anise?
I'm not.
Have you had chai before by chance?
A little, yeah. It's been a while.
That's part of the ingredient in chai.
Okay.
And they look like, without trying to be too crude, but they look like a star with a seed in the middle.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. This to me, it may be stupid and I may be totally off, but this kind of smells like a spiced Hefeweizen to me, because there's a little bit. I don't think it's banana, but you said bubblegum, I think is kind of the flavor. But
yeah,
if you wouldn't have said bubblegum, I would have thought of that. But to me, it smells like a spiced Hefeweizen, but I have no idea how it's going to taste either, because I'm not familiar with this style of beer.
Yeah, if you haven't had if you haven't smelled I don't think clove is. No, that's not in there. But star anise has that bubble gummy, and I completely forgot about that until you said something. I was like, there it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it then,
because of delirium.
Cinnamon. I mean, it was cinnamon? A spice bomb,
okay.
And it's really mellowed out a lot since it's been conditioning and aging a little bit.
Well, cheers then.
Cheers.
Okay, I have a comment on this one.
Yeah,
there are. I don't. Is there cinnamon in this?
There is.
There is. Okay, I have a problem with. I don't want to say it that way. There are.
You don't like cinnamon.
I want to be respectful. There are beers that are overloaded with cinnamon.
Oh yeah.
And I typically don't go for that. Now, some people love it. I think that I think cinnamon, if it's put in there right and it mellows out and it kind of ages with the beer, like it's a good thing. But there are, heavy stouts or just spiced beers that have overloads of cinnamon in it, and it's just a complete turnoff for me. That is exactly what I want in terms of cinnamon in a beer. I want to know it's there, but I don't want it to be a smack in my face.
You don't need it saying, "Look at me."
Yeah, I don't need cinnamon to be the star of the show. I want it to be spiced. I want it to kind of plain. It's there. Yeah, compliment. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to smack me in my face, but I want to know it's there. So I'm glad. I like this beer. I didn't know what I was going to think of this because I've never had anything like this before.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's tasty.
It's really good on the palate. It's very gentle.
7.2%.
Yeah. I would not guess that.
No.
Smooth. I mean, really, a lot of those you start getting, 7.5%, 8%, and they kind of start getting boozy. But, both of those Belgians, I don't know what it is, but they are down the hatch easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
What was the inspiration on this one?
So this was something Matt and I came to Chris, who does all of our brewing over at Marrowbone, Matt from Cedar Tap. And we came up, and we said, hey, there's nobody brewing in Lebanon yet or Wilson County.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have our own house brew on tap. And this was around November, we're talking. And so, of course, it's incredibly convenient owning a brewery. We don't have to go find someone to go make beer for us. So, we come to Chris and we say, hey, we're thinking something kind of accessible, not safe, something with flavor, but something seasonal, something that makes sense. And this is kind of what he put together. And again, he loves doing these Belgian beers and he's crushing them.
Good work.
So this is the recipe he came up with. We gave him some guidance, but, creative control over it and absolutely killed it.
How long does it take to make something like this?
So, from start to being on tap, it's really anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. But I mean, this we brewed in December and it's taken on a totally different character, even in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
It's really mellowed out, but it's still got a lot of that flavor to it.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So
was the cinnamon stronger prior to that, or was it just other flavors that were taking precedence?
It's a lot of the esters. And I mean, with that Belgian yeast, you get so many unique different esters and flavors going on that, that beer 1 month could taste pretty different than 3 months down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has a lot to do with it. But I think, again, like you were saying, that cinnamon's kind of mellowed out and it's a really tangible beer for people that may not necessarily like that.
Mm-hmm. This one's tasty.
Yeah. This is almost close to that pint. If we were to order a pint.
Yeah.
I had a friend who lives in Ashland City come down here. I think it was on the anniversary that you all had earlier this year. Is that right? Anniversary earlier this year?
Did you guys do a party? Did you do a party this year?
Yeah, we did it. We did a week-long party. We were open Wednesday through Sunday every week, but we had something going on every single day.
Oh, yeah.
We released 5 different beers that week.
Oh, really?
And that's actually something we've been doing is kind of these.
Miss this stuff.
You got to get connected on the social media.
At Marrowbone Creek Brewing Co.
At Marrowbone
the Cedar Tap.
That's right. Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
I have to.
Do it.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, you got to.
But,
you got to.
Yeah, we had a whole party. We had live music every night. We released 5 different beers, but we've been doing these micro batches, and it kind of goes back to the old school brewing in a bucket.
Yeah.
And putting out these kind of limited release beers, and that's actually what this IPA was. It's kind of leftover grains, leftover hops from other batches, but staying true to the roots.
Mm-hmm.
Piecing something together that's kind of unique and, putting it out there for a couple weeks and seeing what people think. If it's something that, people are enjoying, we make a big batch of it.
Yeah.
If it's garbage, I'll drink it.
But at the same time, you don't, especially in today's day and age when like supply chain costs are through the roof and stuff like that, when you have leftover stuff, to your point, as long as you're staying true to the style, then you have to use it.
Absolutely.
Like you got to use it, but you're brewing it in small batches. So you're kind of getting it out there and see what people like. And if it becomes a hit, you've just found yourself a new beer to put on tap. But if not, you were able to use your ingredients. And I'm sure there were some people that would still like it. If not the case, you said you'd drink it.
I'd drink it.
Yeah.
Last week we put together, it's a West Coast Pale Ale that's coming up. We had a place in Michigan. They sent us 11 pounds of El Dorado hops to sample.
Nice.
11 pounds
to sample for free.
Good on them.
Yeah, great.
Sweet.
So
we
didn't know what to do with it. So we, again, kind of piecing together a recipe and, that's kind of where we ended up. So again, I'm curious. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but
I love El Dorado hops. That is so citrus sits at the top for me, followed by El Dorado. My very first experience with El Dorado was at Brewing. Mitch, we went there when we were in Asheville.
Yeah.
Such a dope place, man. and they had a single hop. They had a smash IPA with all Eldorado. I've never had a single hop Eldorado IPA in my life because I didn't even know what those hops were. I just ordered it and I taste and I go, this thing tastes different from other IPAs. What is this? And he goes, oh, it's Eldorado hops. And that day I knew I can pick out Eldorado hops in any IPA that I have.
Man.
And so being able to like, that's cool when they're like, hey, here's a bunch of Eldorado hops for you to experiment with.
I figured it'd be an ounce or two, or maybe a pound at most, because I mean, you can buy it in individual pound packages. Yeah. Santa's, come up, open it on a Wednesday, and I pull up, and there's this massive bag out here.
11 pounds.
11 pounds of Eldorado.
High on the alpha acid use.
Like, Chris, what'd you pay for this? Like, nothing. It's a sampler. So
that's awesome.
So,
free hops.
That's
can't say no to that.
They're going up in price, and like you're saying, Citra. Everybody loves.
Everybody loves Citra.
Everything.
Yep.
I mean,
and it's a proprietary hop too. I think. You pay out the ass for a little bit for Citra hops.
Yeah, they're not cheap right now.
No.
So anything we can do to create recipes around that, or if you really need to bite the bullet and do it, but it's an incredible hop. It's tasty, and there's a reason everyone uses it.
But there's other things out there too.
Absolutely.
At Bermari, I meandered my way around their hallways a little bit because they weren't really all that busy on one of the visits that we went.
Yeah. I feel it was the last day that it was like, I think it was like a Sunday or something. We were there in the morning before we went to burial, right?
Yeah. And they have these little plaques on their employee office rooms. Mm-hmm. And one of them is, I live for the funk, I'll die for the funk. Christopher George Latour Wallace. Notorious B.I.G.
That's right. Awesome.
I took a picture of it, and then I put it to our story with the song playing with the little it's not quite the chorus, but it's like what keeps going. Yeah. So
it's such a cool space there.
It is. They got good funks. They got great IPAs. They had all sorts of good stuff. I had a seltzer there that was pretty wild. It looked like a
dank something, or was it? Bong water.
Bong water
was their seltzer,
But it was in one of those tubings that was clear and like very silver patina or maybe aluminum like. Very
like
shiny.
Those Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze kind of like containers. Yeah.
It was fun to see it. That's part of why I ordered it, just to see it go into the glass, know, and I'm like, sweet, maybe I'll be in a half shell, but didn't happen. So
no, but you got good beer out of it.
Yeah, it was good. That seltzer was awesome. The beer was great. And, I wish I had more money. They had really good beers.
Asheville will suck you dry when it comes to money.
We spent you're getting stuff while you're at the tap room. You're drinking, drafts, and then well, I might as well get a 6-pack and a couple specialty bombers, and then you're down $500 every stop for some reason. So I feel that.
Burial's bad at that too. You go to Burial, and it's like you got to get everything at Burial.
Yeah, Burial was because I went back in last July, and Burial was to go only at that point. So it probably saved me $100 there, but picked up.
Oh, because you weren't drinking at the space, right? Were you at Forestry Camp, or did you just go to the regular tap room, like the small little
the small
like space like cabin looking area? South Slope.
I dig the South Slope. They've got they had a car, like abandoned like van or
like
something,
a bus looking thing.
All the stickers on it, people posing in it, having a good time with their drinks in it, kind of thing.
That place was so cool, man.
Incredible beer scene there.
Yes. Yeah, Asheville. Asheville in general just has, Curses Keem is one of the most slept on places. And I went there a few years back and nobody had heard of them. And then Mitch and I went back and still nobody's heard of them. Like, I don't understand it. And it's just the space is cool. The beer is great.
Curses Keem finally is starting to bottle like either this month or the next month.
Maybe we'll see something.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe we can go and buy it to go when we go back to Asheville.
I was so close to going to Asheville for one night stay and rush
the sake
back.
festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love sake. But Nashville has proper sake.
Yep.
But there's no other places really here. There's another one coming into town, but they haven't really made a splash yet. I don't know whether they're not open yet or preparing or what, but we're about to get more.
Yeah.
And they're both going to be at, I believe, the sake festival in Nashville.
Nice.
As well as Lexington's Void. the Void Sake and a few other places.
What
here
was
in
the
Southeast.
sake we had? The Bull Rider from Drinking Partners.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
we were on with Drinking Partners.
So Bull Rider is a something that was given to me from Namazaki Paul.
Shout out Namazaki Paul.
Very generous guy and all about sake tastings and spreading the gospel of sake, as it were. And that thing was amazing. You wouldn't even know if it was sake if you had it, kind of thing. It was super flavorful, fruity. I want more of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have access to that kind of caliber here in the Southeast yet.
Outside of Byron, like you don't get that kind of stuff.
And Byron makes the crazy sake.
Yeah.
So we get the fully flavorful versions of sake here from a brewery perspective.
Gotcha.
And he also makes junmai and, all the things that we're used to table side if you order it chilled and whatever. But, man, it's just super surprising that Nashville has Byron.
You a sake guy, right?
I've actually never had any.
Okay.
Yep. Again, that probably comes down to me just not drinking long enough in my life.
Here's another episode in the future.
Part 2.
I'll make sure to bring
2.
some because there are flavors to be had.
For sure.
It's a weird world. It's another side to brewing that I didn't know really existed.
Complements beer very well, though.
It's a lot more painstaking process wise. Unfortunately, rice
hard
is
to hide flaws in sake.
Yeah.
You can throw hops in a beer if you fuck up, right?
Yeah,
it's like
right.
West Coast IPA.
Change the style name.
That's right.
Right.
Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, anyway, just to get us back on track here, Asheville beer scene, insane. That Funkatorium, something else.
Wicked weed.
Yeah. So good. Even after their acquisition, or not their acquisition.
Staying true to the style even after they were acquired.
Yeah, that's it. That's the word.
A lot of freedom to do what they want, which is great for them.
Yes.
They kind of caught a lot of flack for doing that, and then of course
selling out to the big guys, so to speak.
It happens. If someone paid me, I would too.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I made it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I can stay. I can be creative. All right.
You're either Google or you get big
them.
enough to be bought by Goop. Jesus.
Shit.
And we can't have the fourth one.
That's right.
But I really want the fourth one. We've got one more on the tap on the flight.
Really can't have the fourth one.
I don't even know if I could have this one at this point. This is stout.
I believe you. I believe in you.
Take us in on this one, Ryan. What are we drinking here?
So this is Imperial Stout. Again, this was released for our 1-year anniversary. Quite a bit of chocolate in it.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that.
So a little sweet, not overbearing, but I mean, it is every bit of 10.1.
10.1?
By 10.1 means it may be over, but it's 10.1.
10.1 for the books.
10 means 10. 10.1 means
10.1.
Whatever you want to consider that to be. But it's 10.1.
10.1.
10.1.
Yeah.
And we're actually throwing a version of this into one of those whiskey barrels this week as well.
Oh, that'd be great. Have a barrel aged version of it.
It's also gonna sit on some chili peppers.
Ooh.
Okay.
So
does this one have chili peppers in it?
This does not.
Okay.
This is kind of that base version of it. Again, this was kind of our bucket brew test for the 1 year, and it's hung around since then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Chocolate on the nose for sure.
Yeah, it's got a nice kind of heavy character to it.
Let's jump in. Oh yeah. Yeah, lots of chocolate. Lots of chocolate.
Oh yeah.
But not the sweet milk chocolate.
Yeah, it's bitter
from it.
Yeah, it's bitter. It definitely has some sweetness, probably from the 10.1%.
Sure.
Only 10.1%, but it's definitely dark chocolate. Like it's got that bitter, roasty chocolate flavor profile to it.
Very enjoyable.
This is good.
Little boozy taste to it,
but
it's inviting. It's not like probably. It's not like a fresh Dark Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not 15-16%. But I mean,
those are heavy.
Yeah.
They almost put me off. Kind of thing.
That's definitely a share.
Yeah.
But that being said, for 10%, this one drinks pretty well too.
Yeah. Sure.
All of these beers for their ABV, like, we started small. We started with 8.3. I guess that's not small, but they were all pretty easy flowing.
Sure.
For the ABV, they all drank really, really smooth and really easily. But even this one, like, you know, put this up at 8.5%, 9%. I would have believed it, but not 10 or 10.1, whatever it is. This is easy drinking. I like the chocolate. I'm very interested in the barrel aged version of this. This would be something that would go very well in a barrel.
I definitely feel like it is waiting for that addition. For sure. But it is damn fine by itself.
Yeah. And you said this was one that you were putting on for your 1 year. You put this one on for your 1 year anniversary?
Yeah, this was one of those kind of micro batch releases is what we've been calling them. So we only brewed a limited amount of this. This is the second batch of it that we're on. And it's hung around, you know, again, it's a very specific kind of taste and, you know, very specific kind of person's going to come in and try this one. But, you know, it's sweet enough to not be incredibly boozy. It's tangible. It's a stout. And I mean, it drinks easy.
Yeah. What do you think, Mitch?
Man, you know, if I didn't have any other beers, it would definitely be a pint.
Yeah.
Man, it's got a nice heaviness to it.
Okay.
It's got, that dark chocolate.
Yep.
A little bit of maltiness to me, if that's the right word for it. Maybe oatiness. I don't know. I'm trying to find the right, the body part of the flavor. It's got extra character other than chocolate that brings that heavier kind of flavor to it. And I'm just trying to think what other ingredient, not being a brewer, trying to piece it
as
together.
a consumer.
Yeah.
I think to me, it's all chocolate. I think it's just straight chocolate. Definitely a little bit of roastiness to it, but
that's what it is.
It's not roasty in a sense of like coffee. It's roastiness in a sense of like it's a little bitter. Maybe that's the word. Is the roastiness is the bitter from the dark chocolate, not necessarily sweet. The sweet comes in where it's the 10%.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like this. It's not like this dry milk stout or sweet milk stout. It's definitely the sweetness comes from the alcohol in this case.
I think my palate might be searching for the coffee notes and just can't find it because there's none.
Yeah. Oh, coffee imperial stout. This would be great. Coffee imperial stout. This is good as it is.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of ways you can take this beer.
You can butter this up and do it anyway. I mean, you could do 20 variations of this and they'd all be great.
I feel like this is my go-to, like everyday kind of thing in a breakfast blend. If I were to put it into a coffee perspective,
yeah,
and it's your casual go-to, but you can flavor it any way you want.
Okay. Yep.
But it's perfectly fine by itself.
So we had 4. We had 4. You're picking out of the 4 what you're going to have because we talked about this at the beginning. Okay. So we have the flight. We had the, I guess going in order, we had the barrel conditioned Puzzel Fool's Gold, 8.3 Belgian Golden Strong Ale barrel aged.
Yeah.
And then from there we moved to the American IPA, the first Bloom. And then from there, we went to the winter spiced Belgium Wintervakantie.
There you go.
Winter spiced Belgian, and then finished off with the Imperial Stout, the Stout Heart, 10.1%. You're picking a pint out of the 4 you've had, Mitch. Which one is it?
I was about to be like, I don't need a pint of that, but I would, but now.
Yeah. You got to drive home tonight.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got to be responsible.
And we still have the happy hour shot, the glass 2 that we brought.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be a treat.
Yes.
That'll be a rinse break there.
Rinse break, yeah.
As far as ordering a pint goes, I think I would probably go with that IPA because it's a warmer day.
Okay.
And
first Bloom.
Oh, man.
American IPA.
Yes.
6.2.
It was easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. But it's a very, I'm torn between that and the Belgian
Strong.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good combination. I agree with Mitch. The IPA beats out the stout by a hair. I think in order for me, and all of these have been great. So, you know, when you say in order, last kind of has a negative connotation, and that's not the case at all. But for me, it would be the IPA comes first. Then the stout. I mean, the stout is just, it's easy for 10%. It doesn't drink like 10%, right? I don't understand how you guys were able to pull that off. But
very carefully.
I swear
Very
it's Chris's signature is these high graph beers that don't taste high graph. So.
Shout out Chris, man.
Shout out.
Stop fucking with me, man. Seriously. No, IPA, I think, takes the cake for me. Only by a small hair. So that's going to be my pint for the evening. What's your pint, Ryan?
That's a tough choice because I've had so many pints of all of these. And again, if I had to be able to walk out of here, it probably wouldn't be the stout, but my heart's got to go with that stout.
I got you.
It's killer.
Yeah.
It's a really good pure, like, is that the right word? It's just the classic chocolate.
It's the definition of just an imperial stout. You know, it's not that Russian imperial stout where it's just overly boozy. It's not the sweet milk stout where it's just really milky and sweet and just doesn't have a lot of flavor. It's not dry, you know, like a Guinness. It's just it's kind of got the best of everything. It's dark, it's bitter, it's sweet, it's not boozy, and it's just chocolately.
I'm a black coffee guy, and that's a nice way to kind of follow
it
up
after
I finish.
Yes.
So, yep.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. Well, I think we're going to take a quick rinse break.
Sounds good.
And then we're going to come back with the bottle share that we brought for Ryan, and then we'll be right back. Back in. Rinse break over. New beer in the glass. This is the lightning round.
Yeah, man. And it's good to have beer in a glass.
Good to have beer in a glass. Ryan, this is our appreciation to you, man. This is something that Mitch and I like to do. So when we get the opportunity, the honor to come on site and get to share some of the beers that you guys have made and put for us, we like to share a little bit of appreciation ourselves. So everywhere Mitch and I go, we typically try to pick up bottles, you know, whether it's anniversary beers or if it's something rare that we can't find. And in this case, it is the Southern Grist Batch One Theory. So this is their 6th anniversary cake. So they just had their 6th anniversary not too long ago. They did a bunch of collaborations. Bearded Iris, they had a fake hate collaboration with them. And Mitch and I got the opportunity to go. And we also got an opportunity to pick up some bottles. So this is one of their releases. This is not a collab. This is just something that they did. But their anniversary, their Batch One Theories are always something that's heavy hitting. But it's always been one of my favorites. So Southern Grist Brewery, 13.5%, 6th anniversary Imperial Double Pastry Stout. It's a beast.
Jeez.
Yeah. On the nose, what are you guys getting?
Booze.
Ooh.
Jesus. I smelled the bottle instead of the glass.
That's it.
It's straight booze. I mean, 13.5%, you know, you almost expect it.
Well, they're not hiding any barrel agedness to this.
No.
It is a series or seriousness to it.
Aged 22 months in Blanton's bourbon barrels.
Blanton's.
And aged for 15 months in E.H. Taylor bourbon barrels.
Oh.
So they pretty much assumed they were going to be open 6 years when they started that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
basically.
Yeah. Wow.
That's ballsy.
It is and it isn't. I mean,
Yeah.
you could always open up as another brewery to re-release the beer and then shut down. And
I guess. You could do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
13.5% ABV Imperial Stout, then conditioned on toasted coconut, cacao nibs, candied pecans, pistachios, and vanilla beans. There's a lot going on in this beer.
I hope I
fear it's
pistachio.
Yeah, you don't typically, do you? There's a lot going on with this thing, and I'm afraid there's going to be too much going on. It's the Blantons and the E.H. Taylor, like the barrel aged for that amount of time alone is enough to scare me.
Yeah.
But then all the additional flavors of pecans, pistachios, vanilla beans, cacao nibs, like toasted coconut is good enough. Like it's not too overpowering, but the rest of it seems pretty strong.
I mean, it's got that sweet nose. It's a little bit of there is a nuttiness to it.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with pistachio that it has, I don't know the right word for it.
Maybe you'll taste it in this one.
Maybe. But that barrel age is heavy.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Ooh.
Oh,
that's sweet.
That sent shivers through the chest into the spine.
It's actually not as barrel aged as I was expecting it to be, but it's really sweet.
It's like melted ice cream.
Very nutty on the back end too.
Yeah.
I'm getting that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am very glad that we're splitting this bottle because if I were to drink this all by myself, it'd be a one and done, and I'd be shit faced for the night.
Sit here and babysit for the next hour too.
Holy crap!
Part of the job.
Yeah, part of the job, right?
Man,
Ryan, what's next, man? Marrowbone Creek. What do you guys have? I mean, opened up a shop as an experiment, to get going right during the lockdowns when COVID came. Open for over a year now. Cedar Tap, 6 months old now. So you guys have that space going too. So you're, I'm sure, splitting your time between Lebanon and Ashland City.
A lot of driving.
Yeah.
Need to buy myself a car. That would help.
Is there, and you said you're self-distributing.
That's right. Yes. So we actually just bought a canning line 2 or 3 months ago.
That was my next question,
so
actually.
We've got cans of Puzzel Fool's Gold that are out. We've got cans of Easy River, which is our all Tennessee grain lager.
Nice.
And I was telling you earlier, we just sold through it so quick that this is already the second batch. Since we started that in March, that's coming out at the end of the month. So
7 barrels in weeks, you said, right?
Yes. It was not long.
That's insane.
Again, it's one of those beers that just goes down so easy, and 3 or 4 of them, and you feel it a little bit, but it's still got a lot of flavor to it.
Mitch, to give you an idea on 7 barrel system, that was the amount of resist that the 3 breweries in Nashville put together. So Tennessee or East Nashville Beer Works, Fay LaForce, and Tenfold brewed 7 barrels of their resist. Anti-Russian Imperial Stout,
dude,
and you can still go get it today at any of those 3 locations. And that thing launched about a month ago, few weeks ago. They blew through an entire equivalent of that lager, 7 barrels in a matter of weeks. So that's impressive.
Yeah, already on the second batch, and we actually we have a 15 barrel fermenter we're installing the hardware on this week, and probably as soon as this batch finishes, we're brewing another batch, probably a double batch this time. So
nice.
Maybe that's the new hit beer in Middle Tennessee. We'll have to see. I could wish.
Yeah. So canning line is up. Do you guys do growlers?
We do growlers. Glassware is a little difficult to find right now, but we've had glass growlers, we have plastic growlers, and now we're back to glass this week. So
back to glass.
Back to glass.
Nice. You get what you get, right?
We get what we get at this point.
Do you guys have a crowler machine as well?
We don't. We're sticking just to the cans. We'll probably have some just empty growlers at some point.
Yeah.
It's just a little different fitting to do that.
For sure.
Nice. Baby steps, but we're getting there. So, but
and the amount of time you guys have been open, you've been growing like gangbusters to be able to self-distribute in a year. And you're doing growler fills, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 beers on tap, at least at the front.
Should be 10 total. I just haven't written signs for this week. So
gotcha. Okay.
So 10 out of 16 taps.
And just to be nice and to be fair, you guys have a lot of local craft breweries as well. So Diskin I see is on tap. Rheingeist, shout out to Kat Rheingeist, Cincy
wonderful person.
Love Kat. Oh, you know Kat?
Oh yeah,
super cool
awesome.
chick, man. Kat's great.
Cedar Tap is actually doing a tap takeover. We haven't announced it, but the first Friday of June.
Oh,
we're doing a
that's
Rheingeist
great.
takeover. So
man,
looking forward to that.
I love Kat, man. She's good people. Rheingeist is cool. It's just we sat down with her on virtual I don't think it was during lockdown, but we did a collaboration over like a Zoom.
And it might have been 2020.
You think it was?
It might have been.
Okay.
It might have been early 2021.
Early
too.
2021.
Yeah.
It was an incredible experience. I've always liked Rheingeist prior to that anyway, but Kat's good people.
Definitely.
And Mother Earth Brewing, North Coast Brewing, so something a little bit outside the area. But you've got about 5 or 6 taps of guests on tap.
Try to keep it local. And that's actually how we started before we were brewing. We were just trying to get the front tap room open, which is about 40 seats. And we started all guest taps. So we were really just kind of a craft beer tap room for the first 2 months of being open.
Okay.
Until we had those first beers on tap. Kept some of those. We have the bottle shop in here, which we kind of downsized in preparation for having our own stuff in cans, but still trying to focus on the local beers. And it's such an incredible scene.
Yeah.
The bar has been set so high recently. And this Southern Grist is incredible. A lot of other local places that are really kind of raising that bar.
We got a lot of good craft beer.
Yeah.
here in Tennessee.
Yes.
It's a good problem to have.
It is.
It is a good problem to have.
It keeps growing too. It's hearing some statistics from maybe a few nights ago. I can't remember exactly when it was.
I think we were talking, we were at Black Abbey, weren't we, with Carl?
Yeah.
4,000 craft brewery or 40,000. I can't remember. It was some stupid amount. It doubled in the amount of like a couple of years.
Yes.
The amount of craft breweries in the country is ridiculous.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, even just looking at Nashville, you've had 4 or 5 spots open up in the last year.
We're not saturated yet.
You got Brewery, you got Living Waters, you have Fela Force. Tenfold's pretty new still.
Yep.
All these places opening up. I mean, it's, I wouldn't be surprised if it's in the thousands that have opened up in the last 2 years.
Like Bearded Iris is a Nashville staple, and they're only 6 years old.
Yeah. Wild. They got 2 locations.
Yeah.
Potentially 3. They're working with Scofflaw. I mean, they're blowing up.
Yeah.
I've got friends in Northern Illinois that ask me if I can bring a case every time I come back up there. I'm like,
good on Bearded Iris,
but
man.
They know Bearded Iris. They get Southern Grist up there too, and they're like, man, if you get anything that we can't get up here, bring it up. So
that's crazy how we take that shit for granted.
Oh yeah.
It's like when I go to the grocery store, I go, oh, I love Homestyle. Oh, but they also have Everclever. I'm going to get that instead. And people are like, just get some Homestyle. Like, if you could only get it.
That's saying a lot. I mean, the Chicago scene up there is incredible.
Yeah,
it is.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And again, the bar is set so high there that you have to put out good beer there. But, I think Nashville's really kind of this second wave is really propelling that lately.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Man.
Chicago, shout out Revolution Brewing.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll trade some Bearded Iris for some Revolution.
Hell yeah,
any
Death
day.
Tar.
Yeah.
3 Phase. We get Hop Butcher down here now.
Yep,
that's good.
Yep,
finally,
love some Hop Butcher.
Goldfinger,
Yep.
great beer up there.
I'm glad that they're starting to cross states.
Yes,
I'm glad that breweries are growing big enough to where they're starting to be able to distribute outside of their area.
Absolutely.
So this has been great, man. Ryan, dude, thank you.
I appreciate y'all coming out. It was great meeting you at the bottle share, and
yes,
just great sharing some beers since then. It was
For
good
sure.
seeing you at the brewery, the 1 year anniversary.
That was fun. We
day.
both got the Dunk Shane.
Yep.
Did you get the Dunk Shane
We
also?
did.
I know Ryan did. Did you get
I
to also?
I hit it second try.
Nice.
I didn't think I'd hit it.
Nice. Yeah. Same for you, Mitch?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was
Nice.
the second try.
You dunked him either way.
Yeah.
It counts.
His hair's wild.
He is
the whole like rainbow sherbet color.
Says world's best dad, or worst dad.
Worst dad in town.
He's got to be the best.
Yeah.
Let someone do that.
He definitely plays on his name. Like he's got that persona. It works.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great dude. That's awesome. Final thoughts, Mitch. Marrowbone Creek Brewing. Beers tonight.
Fantastic location. Ashland City's beautiful.
Yeah.
I wish I could just like teleport here, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing them grow, expand, and get into anywhere else.
For sure.
I enjoyed the Cedar Tap the times I've been, and I hope to continue to go to there in the near future and on.
For sure.
The beer is hitting me,
yes.
by the way.
We've had some tonight.
13 and a half.
We've had 13 and a half. Didn't help that we had a 10.1% stout prior to that.
Got to warm up to it.
Yeah, it's got to warm up.
That's true.
Ryan, man, thank
Pleasure.
you so much, brother. It's been awesome, man. We've had a great time tonight. Mitch and Rich are signing out. If you are drinking beer, keep drinking beer. If you're not drinking beer, start drinking beer. If you've never had craft beer before, if you live in Ashland City or the surrounding Nashville area, definitely come out and check out their brewery. Their tap room is amazing. Their beers are great. The space is cool overall. So I'm sure they'll be excited to have you in, just like we were excited to be here tonight. So we're going to keep drinking this beer, and then we're going to turn off the mics, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.